Oh, okay, we're almost there.
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network with Mr. Texas Real Estate Jason Bible and Mr. California Investor Robert Orfino. Join us as Jason and Robert talk about the hottest real estate market
All right, it's
in the
working.
country, the entire state of Texas, and why Texas is such a great market to invest in and why it could be strong for years to come. Get ready to talk all things Texas.
You good?
Your new home on the way to the office. Texas Real Estate Radio.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is Robert Orfino. My partner and friend Jason Bible here. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. And we have a very special guest today, Jason.
I'm excited because this is all about money.
This
Getting
is
money.
Yes, this is a very...
Inexpensive money.
Yes. And good money.
Good money, that's right.
Right, not stacks and stacks of bad money. Hey, so we, and I'll just go through this. Obviously, we have a radio show, and we have meetups, and we do things that thousands of other people do across this country.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I said when we first started out, we just weren't going to have every guru come through here peddling their $9.97 piece of crap, right? We just weren't going to do it.
Yeah, like guy comes in, it's a lease option guy.
Yeah,
and it's
tax lien guy, followed by another lease option guy, followed by the owner financing guy, followed by the lease option. It's all the same thing, right?
That's all garbage.
And it's all nonsense, right? And so, we did say, hey, there's probably 5, maybe 7 people. We identified them about this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
We were on your board and up in that Phoenix building. We were identifying, like, here are the 7 people we want on.
Mm-hmm.
And our guest today was one of those 7. And so I'm very, very happy. We're going to have you for a few days. This is Merrill Chandler from Credit Sense, and Merrill's one of probably the most honest and straightforward guys in this business when it comes to figuring out how to get funding. And we're not just talking about hard money. We're talking about being able to leverage and get some private funding, and get some bank funding and get some credit funding and how to actually work the system. Probably the smartest guy I know when it comes to FICO and D&B stuff. So. Welcome, Chandler.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here, guys. No joke. This is the whirlwind tour of Houston, so thank you for hosting me.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've known you guys for years now, and it's been amazing to come down here. The meetups last night that we had, the people, the quality of the people you guys have that are listening to you. And you asked everybody to raise your hand. You hear us on the radio, Facebook, et cetera, and everybody in the house was raising their hands. So it's you guys have an amazing following, and I'm just happy to be here to kind of throw in my 2 cents about the newest favorite F word, fundability.
So let's talk a little bit about, because whenever you hear people talk about credit and bank lines and all that, they immediately think credit repair. And I was one of those guys that always had a really good credit score and that sort of thing. And I'm like, I don't need credit repair. And then when you and I met a couple of years ago, you said, this is not credit repair. Like, that's not. No. We are going to manage your credit profile in such a way that it's attractive to an algorithm. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that kind of at a high level, then we can get into some specific questions.
Sure. The 10,000-foot view, right? Everything that we've been taught and trained, and I'm not going to put any, conspiracy theories out there, but everything that we've been taught and trained in the financial world is there's good credit and bad credit, right? It's all polarity. Good credit, bad credit. And I'm here to shift that conversation from good credit, bad credit to fundable or not fundable. Because I've seen 800 plus credit scores that have liens and judgments still on the credit report. And I've seen, and they're not fundable. And I've seen individuals who have a 620 credit score, but they are madly fundable. Banks are willing to give them top tier rates for these because it's what's in the profile. The scores, a high credit score just means you get more of what you already got. If you're a consumer borrower, and you've got some mall store cards or credit cards, from your favorite department stores, et cetera, and you have an 800 plus credit score, that just means you're going to get the very best rate and the high limit when you get your new Kohl's card or Victoria's Secret card or
Right.
Home Depot card, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Chase, Wells Fargo, PNC, BB&T, all the big top tier banks, they're not going to give you a $50,000 business line of credit on your Home Depot reputation.
Mm-hmm.
It will never happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to change the conversation from good credit, bad credit. We've been led to believe that scores are important, or the single most important funding decision that that lenders have. But most people don't know that it's like third or fourth in priority.
Wow.
There are three more important funding decisions or data points that are more important than your credit score. People don't know this. Then, unfortunately, there's also what we call FACO scores and FICO scores, right?
So FICO is the actual scoring body. Can you explain FICO a little bit? Is it a regulatory body? It's a private group that manages credit scores? Kind of how does that
Sure.
whole FICO thing? So then we can talk about FICO versus FACO.
Okay, so FICO stands for Fair Isaac Company, and Fair Isaac in the 50s started developing algorithms and math to take data points from lenders and start assessing the credit worthiness of individuals and originally businesses. And so FICO is a private company. It's just like but it is in the credit system. It is its own player. You got lenders, you got credit bureaus, and you got FICO, and then there's the borrower. And so FICO is this private company that developed an algorithm, and they're even applying AI and big data. If you want to talk big data, it's FICO.
Oh, yeah,
it is not the credit bureaus.
Right.
They're record collectors, right? They're data collectors. FICO is the one who's looking at predictive analytics to predict human behavior to protect lender money. So they'll know who's safe to lend to based on the big data and the predictive analytics they apply to all of this amazing quantitative analysis. I'll get into the dirt here in a second.
No, and so, but their algorithm is pretty.
Oh, it is pretty predictive.
Right?
It is pretty predictive, and it's faithful, and it is and I trust it, right? But what we don't know, what we fail to understand in this, most of us think that there's an adversarial relationship between lenders and borrowers, right? Hey, I'm a good person. Give me some money, and I'll pay you back. And the banks are going, oh, hey, you're liars, cheaters, and thieves, and and I've got I need to mortgage your firstborn and everything that's sacred and holy to you before I'm going to give you any money. So there's mad adversarial relationship. The thing is you can't win a game unless you know the rules.
For sure.
And so what we at CreditSense and what we do at Funding Hackers is we create this paradigm shift. We want people to be asking different questions. We want people to have an entirely different approach. Not good credit, bad credit, but are you fundable? What does a lender need to know about you to trust you with their money? And then how do we shape our behavior so we align ourselves exactly with what we can do for them to find us trustworthy and give us more money?
So I just go right on to creditkarma.com and I get my information.
Yes, wonderful. You and 80 million other deceived souls. Sorry to break this to you guys, but Credit Karma is. So we talked about FICO. FICO, depending on who you ask, 90 to 95% of all lending decisions are engineered or crafted by FICO. They're the ones who run the data. They're the ones who create the score, and they're the ones lenders pull. So the software is on all lenders' desktop computers, mainframe computers, etc., running the data. Okay. Then there's what I call FACO scores. And a FACO score is any score that doesn't have the FICO logo to it. And that happens to also be Credit Karma and dozens and dozens of other credit monitoring services that do not use FICO scores. And Credit Karma uses what's called Vantage Score. It's this, please forgive the judgment, but it's It's an attempt by the 3 credit bureaus to build an
Oh, that's
organization to compete against, because they own all the data, but bureaus can't score their own data. So they have to create another entity and teach that, and that entity is now building a different algorithm to measure. But no lenders use that score when making a lending decision. And so what happens is Credit Karma gets all of this because they're giving out credit scores for free.
Sure.
And we've been trained to believe this credit score is the most important feature of our fundability or our financial picture. And so they now have all of the Pied Piper playing, and it's all everybody just follows them blithely along, not knowing what's actually happening. And so that's why we're on this whirlwind tour. You guys are amazing to have us here because we want to preach the gospel of fundability and change the game, give people a chance to make real decisions that are going to impact their funding decisions and what they're trying to do, especially in real estate.
Well, I'll tell you the way I describe what you guys do at Credit Sense is you're a dating service for credit. You're gonna take this hapless bachelor and go, all right, buddy, we're going to get your hair cut right. We're going to get you a suit that fits. We're going to teach you how to talk. And now we're going to send you out into the dating market, right? But we're going to, you as a person are fine. We got to fix some things here.
Right.
And it's not just having a fancy car or having the silver tongue, right? That we gotta fix a couple of things.
Change the fundamentals so that you know how to talk to a lady.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So and all the credit bureaus, and all the financial institutions. I love the metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do a blog that compares the two.
Yeah.
Because the lenders want to be wooed.
That's
they
right.
want relationships to be built with them. They want to trust you, and they want to be able to make sure that you're not taking advantage of them.
That's right. And here's what I found on the lending side. Once you've got one, then they all want to be your friend. They all want to date, right?
Yeah. Because women tend to support other beautiful, intelligent, capable, talented women's opinions, right?
Right.
They will be like, oh, why is he so interesting to
going
her?
Yeah. Like, wait a second. This guy was a loser 6 months ago, and now all of a sudden, what's going on here?
No joke. And we'll push that metaphor. Holy hell.
All right, we get back from the break. We'll talk more about funding with Merrill Chandler, Credit Sense, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Whenever I dealt with banks, that's what I've always thought. It's like dating.
Yeah,
it is exactly like dating.
It is. In fact, so we call these credit lines trophy lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it shows that you're winning the game, right? You win. If you can get one of these credit lines from a bank,
nice.
you are killing it in playing the funding game. Well, I always say, so does it when it comes to vetting a bank and finding out if it's really the kind of money that we want to borrow, right? Because we become the choosers. The guy, right, becomes the chooses who he wants to date. And it's like going to a bank and saying, "Hey, do you have unsecured stated income business lines of credit for $100,000?" That's like asking the father out for the 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
You're a 30-year-old.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm here to grab your girl. We're gonna jump in the car and take off.
Make sure she puts on that Victoria's Secrets for me, Daddy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're all good, right?
Dude, you got to woo the family.
That's
You
right.
got to build a relationship. You got to prove that you got long-standing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be there for a minute before any. Now I won't say 16-year-old daughter. I'll say 18-year-old daughter. But it is just as precious to that father.
That is exactly what it's like. Whenever I've had to deal with these guys, I'm like, this is just like dating.
Hey, so for the next 3 days, let's take one of the top three. You said there's 3 things beyond FICO. One is your trailing 12, right? You said there's 3 things that get you loans that are more important than FICO, right? One is your trailing 24.
Right, 24-month look-back period.
Yeah.
We go 24-month look-back period.
Yeah.
Then we're looking at the relationship building.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do 3 different things, what I prefer that we do is we do the 3 secrets that I kind of cover.
Let's go into secret number 1, right?
Yeah, secret number 1 is that if you
hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought.
All right, hang on. I got to make sure they're in the right order.
10 seconds.
Yep.
Okay. When you know how to play the game, you can hack business underwriting. Yes, that's the first secret. There's 3 secrets.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We've got Merrill Chandler here of Credit Sense, and we're talking about fundability all week, how to position yourself in such a way to be attractive to lenders.
Irresistible to lenders.
I like that. Irresistible.
Very beautiful. Hey, Merrill, I followed you and I've been a part of your organization for a while now. We use your service and we love everything about what you guys do. But there are, I would say, over the next 72 hours here in Houston, if you're everywhere that Merrill is, you're going to get dozens and dozens and dozens of nuggets.
Yes.
And I talking about how to buy a car, and it's just brilliant, right? And what credit cards to get, what ones not. And then tonight when we do the names of the businesses, and we'll get into that the next segment here. But you've got 3 big hacks.
Yes.
Right. So let's not do all of them right now. Let's spread them out over the week. But give us a really big hack for folks that are looking for business.
All right. So what we have. The fundability hacks is simply meaning, and just as a disclaimer, we use hacks as the shortcut, the inside track to something. Because when we say we're hacking funding algorithms from lenders, this sounds a little but I'm the first one who has to pull back from that metaphor, because hacks are like, we all love life hacks. We all like knowing. I got a quick story. I had this. I wanted to know how my dry cleaner pressed these perfectly designed shirts so that I could take them and put them into my suitcase. Right. I go online and I find in one move you can pick up a shoulder, a side, turn it and lay it down, and your shirt looks exactly like your shirt does in the in the photos or when it comes from the dry cleaner. That's a hack, right? It changed my life. Well, over the next 3 days, we're going to be talking about literally dozens of financial and credit hacks, and and they fall into 3 categories. And I call them secrets because nobody knows them, and I've discovered them over 25 years of building this whole process of fundability. The first and most important, the first of all these secrets is that when you know the rules of the game, you can actually hack bank and FICO algorithms to the tune of obtaining $1 million in credit lines, business credit lines. So the 3 components
Merrill,
of that
that's a lot of credit cards I have to take out.
Yeah, not even credit cards. These are check writing, $100,000 business lines of credit. But just like we were talking, it's a dating game. You gotta know what it takes to create those. But number 1 is you gotta know the rules of the game. So today we'll focus on some of those rules and what FICO is measuring and what we're not even aware of is going on. Right. So that's our thing. We can, if we know the rules, we can hack that insider shortcuts to getting a lender approvals, right? Whether it's personal or, in our case, business lines that we can write a check and do a deal.
Yeah, and those lines of credit, that's the gold standard in lines of credit, right? Yeah. Unsecured lines of credit that are not tied to some kind of nonsense credit card special offer. Here's your $20,000 and go and do your thing. So, and what you can do with those lines of credit is pretty incredible. You can do some lending,
phenomenal.
You can buy some properties,
you can leverage.
You can leverage a lot of stuff, and they're relatively inexpensive when compared to
Prime plus 1, Prime plus 2. I mean, we're talking 5.5% to 7.5% in an 8 to 12% market for other types of funding. These are the holy grail, right? We call them trophy lines because when you're playing the game well, what do you come home from the championship? You come home with a trophy, right? That trophy is these credit lines but you got to know how to play this game like a pro. You can't be. This is no rec center pickup game, right? This is pro ball.
Boys down at the park.
Yeah, this is pro ball, and so we got to know what those rules are and then implement them masterfully.
Give us an example. What's one of
Okay.
the rules of the FICO?
All right. So one of the rules, one of the fun things is that whole conversation we're having on FICO. You got to know who's scoring your game, right? So if you've got FICO scoring your game, then that's awesome. But there's some problems there you got to be aware of. So we'll get into that in a sec. Then there's the FICO scores. And if it doesn't have a FICO logo, you're getting hit. So that was what we talked about. But did you know that FICO actually has a relatively irrelevant score that we call it a marketing score? It's a consumer-facing score. All the big banks give, hey, would you like your FICO score?
Oh, that's
right
up on your
it comes up on your apps. It comes up on your websites, and anytime that you log in, once a month they say, hey, your new FICO score is available. Well, here's the next level. FICO wants you to be aware of your credit score, just like Credit Karma or anybody else. So they developed what we call a raw data score. It isn't vertically integrated. It doesn't have something to do with your mortgages or your car loans or others. It is a generic marketing score that FICO offers. Now, here's what's funny. FICO does not, or no lenders use that score for lending decisions. It's a marketing score. It's a generic, unweighted score. And so not only do we have, if we're saying we got to know the rules of the game, we got to know who's scoring our game, but we got to know which version. There are 28 consumer-facing versions of FICO software. There are 3 versions, what's called version 9, the most like Windows, Windows or Macintosh, right? There's different versions. So there's version 9, version 8, and what's called version 542. It's a 3-digit. And so there are 3 versions. Then there's auto scores, mortgage scores, and unsecured bank card scores. And then there are 3 different bureaus. So when our awesome listeners out there go to a bank, they don't know what bureau is being pulled, what score is being pulled, and which version of the software they're using. So you have no idea what you're going to walk into unless you even know the framework that we're talking about, knowing the field we're playing on or the court we're playing on.
We're talking about like buying a car last night. So AutoNation may use FICO scoring 5, right?
Correct.
But Penske might use 3.
Yeah, 3 or an Equifax.
Right. They're not even pulling all 3, right?
Correct.
They're just using 1. And so it happens all the time. You go out and you get your Credit Karma and you're like, oh, look at me, I'm at a 720. And you walk into Penske and you're like, well, you're at 690. I can't give you the best loan. You're like, no, here's my
Credit Karma score.
No, we've pulled the right data. And a lot of it is it's the upgrade that they'd have to pay. Like Penske would have to pay a serious amount of dough to get to FICO 9 scoring.
That is correct.
And so they choose not to.
Correct. And that's why and Chase has 30,000 computers it has to upgrade with all this software, right? So everybody has different grades, different pull, and when you could even walk in with your FICO score from your bank and say, oh, look, here's my 720, but they're pulling an auto score, and something happened in your auto loan. Well, we'll get into weights, weighting it later, but I'm telling you.
So it's fair to say it's a mess.
An organized mess. Like, if you didn't know the rules.
It's logical, right? It's not like you can't figure this out, but
we just got to know the pieces we're trying to put together.
When we get back from the break, we'll talk more about credit with Credit Sense, Merrill Chandler, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
By the way, you guys have great music.
Oh, yeah.
Great music.
When we first started the station, because it's business radio and it's so boring, I'm like, all right, we got to get some good tunes on here.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting there just going, I just want to hang on to the music. Yeah, this is a great format to do the 3 secrets over over the 3 days.
And I imagine too, once you do this once, then you'll get an idea. Okay, so this is what we want to do tomorrow and the next day and all that. It starts to make all the chaos starts to make sense sooner or later.
He's triple dipping over here.
Oh yeah, I gotta get the coffee. I always have sinus stuff in the morning, so I'm always blowing my nose and drinking all the tea.
What is our hour-long show, 2-hour show.
It's an hour, and we're halfway through.
Thing.
This goes fast.
Yeah, way fast. All right, so our next. I do want to walk them through a couple of. Get into the experience that they have, the confusion and the fear and all that about not being overwhelmed. The whole point is to not overwhelm them. The point is to get them to.
Jason, we have a lot of people watching, so if we can make sure we're sharing, liking, loving, please give us some. Let us know where you're watching from. I see some Jersey folks on there. Our friend up in Dallas just signed on, a lot of Houston folks. So let us know where you're watching from. We're really curious where you're watching from. If you could like, love, and share this Facebook Live, we'd appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, if you're the one person who's watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Share that with your friends.
Can we share this on my?
I think I just did.
Because I've got Credit Sense and then Funding Hackers and Insider Secrets that I'd love to be able to, and we can do it after the fact, but I'd love to be able to share it.
Did you know the human body does not make its own vitamin C? That's right. That's why it's critical to supplement your diet with a good source of vitamin C every single day. Aqua Powder's vitamin C is a safe, effective, and delicious way to get them.
We will figure that out today. I can't get you on that.
Okay.
What's the group you have?
Funding Hackers.
Okay.
And Credit Sense Insider Secrets. Yeah, Funding Hackers.
See if it comes up. I may not be a part of it.
To deliver 2,000 milligrams per serving. That's real.
Nope, I'm not a part of it. We'll figure that out today.
Yeah, I'll make you guys. You guys can send requests to get on to Funding. I'll put you on both of them so that way.
But I appreciate that, and yeah, we have a whole step by step that we're perfectly figuring out.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll talk
1
about.
minute.
Tomorrow we'll talk about like cloning a fundable entity, and that's where we'll talk about the red flag words and stuff like that.
God,
Because you
that.
can't have your name and all that.
The greatest slide ever.
Yeah, when I
Put up
sat
that
back,
slide, all those words.
when I saw that slide, I was like, I'm so glad I named my company Team Bible. Like, this is great.
I have a guy from Big Game Hunting. His name it's like Jay's Bakery.
Oh, perfect.
Jay's Bakery LLC. Yeah.
That'll work.
Hey, let's mention where we are tonight
Oh, yeah.
when we come back.
And you'll be back in 10 seconds.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're here with Merrill Chandler of Credit Sense. Where are you boys going to be at tonight?
We have a full week. Tonight we're up at the Fairfield Inn and Suites. It's at Rayford and 45. So it's on the Feeder Road 45 South. And that's the Fairfield Inn and Suites. And if you don't know that, then just text me at 281-401-9008. Tomorrow he'll be back with us on the radio show. And then tomorrow night we're over at the Homewood Suites at Park Row and Highway 6.
So tonight's Woodlands, tomorrow's the Katy Crowd.
Katy Crowd, and then Thursday we're going down to Dickinson, so we'll get the folks down in southeast Houston and Galveston County. So we'll be down at Noah's Event Center. That's Michael Boyd's room on Thursday. Okay.
So full week of stuff. So if they want to see you, that's the three places.
That's a deep dive. We're going to be having some fun at each one of those events.
Oh, absolutely. Guys. Yeah. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, because, usually the road shows, you're in one day, you're out, right? One night you're in and you're out.
No, this is Houston week.
No, so we really want to get in and most of the times you only get a 15-minute segment on a radio show, right? And so there's so much to learn, and there's so much value that you give first, Mara, which is absolutely amazing. I think that, I'm not even sure 3 days are going to be enough.
Yeah. What I find so fascinating about this particular subject is that this is one of those areas where you can get bits and pieces from different places, but you can't put it all together unless you do what you do, and if you've been doing it a zillion years, right? It's so the information is so random, and I don't want to say FICO hides it on purpose.
They do. I will. You don't have to.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I don't know if it's they try and hide it in plain sight or if they just hide it completely. But when you start talking about the different types of FICO scores for the different bureaus, and then you've got all the different algorithms, and it's changing, and then now they're talking about the possibility, at least they were talking about in China, of social media scores, adding a credibility component to social media. And then I was like, I'm going to have about a 0 credit score. For this thing.
It's called Alipay.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
And I would imagine at some point FICO is going to start to embrace that.
They've already begun. In fact, I have had the opportunity to go to 2 FICO worlds. FICO World is
I think every credit repair guy gets to go, right?
Yeah,
no?
Not a single one because credit repair. In fact, FICO vetted us. We saw their IP address coming in from their offices to check us to make sure that we were not credit repair, because credit repair is not hacking a system, it's actually gaming it. You're actually trying to beat the system the way it was designed, and it's not trustworthy, right? But and there are solutions for people who have less than perfect credit, because we just hold it as another. That's just one different way that you're not fundable. You can be not fundable with a poor credit profile design. You can be not fundable by having draws.
Okay, let's take that bit for a minute. You may be unfundable with an 830 credit score.
Correct. Yes.
Or you may be fundable at a 600 credit score.
So, the lowest I've seen was a 620, but yes.
So
yeah.
620. So at a 620, you could be fundable. At an 800, you might not be.
That is correct.
So this is not, when people think, they're like,
mind blown.
Yeah, and they go, wait a second here. There's a little bit more to this than the number on a sheet of paper.
That is correct. And it's not just debt to income ratio. It's not just the assets you have. See, what the number one metric for, and this is kind of the one of the hacks that we're going to talk about this morning. The number one metric is what's called the 24-month look-back period. And the look-back period, think of it as 3 months of behavior, whether it's positive behavior, negative behavior. 3 months of behavior is worth X. Well, 6 months of behavior is 2X. It's twice as valuable. That makes sense, right? And then, but 12 months is 4X, and 24 months of that behavior is 16X. It's not 16 times longer, but it's 16 times more valuable for your profile or against you. It's logarithmic, right? The further down you go, the faster it increases in its value. And so what that means is that FICO has designed, its predictive analytics says that the longer you do a behavior, the more permanent that behavior is, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why so many people, I run into it all the time at conferences and where I'm speaking, where people will say, hey, I've got, I paid down all my credit cards, and yet they won't give me another. I tried to get another credit card and they won't give it to me. I'm like, you haven't even, paying them down isn't a metric that they measure, right? Carrying balances for negative or zero balances for 3 months, they measure that. But just paying it off doesn't buy you anything. What buys you anything is showing a consistent behavior over 3, 6, 12, and 24 months.
So you pay that credit card down and you hold that zero balance or a small balance for 12 months. Then you'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
you'll see the benefits.
Yes,
of it, right?
It doesn't mean you can't use the card. You just have to show that it's back down to zero when and there's some technical details to that. We won't get into it until the meetings tonight. But the bottom line is that you can be fundable with less than perfect credit. You can be fundable with lower scores because it depends on what you've been doing for over the long period of time. 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. Same thing, that 800 plus score does not automatically buy you something. It does. We've been told that that's what we're supposed to focus on. And again, good score, bad score, good credit, bad credit, that is not the paradigm that the lenders look at. Lenders don't look at your score to decide to give you money. They look at how you treat other people's money as represented by your behaviors on your credit profile. That's what they're measuring. That's what they're looking at. And so we're off looking, squirrel, and we're off looking to the side, right, at our score. And the lenders are over there going, all right, while they're unconsciously behaving, let's measure them to see if we want to give them money. So let's not do it unconsciously. Let's do it consciously, right?
Actively.
Let's make it a proactive approach. And they only make money when they lend.
So
That's right.
As we go into this break, let's just go totally mess with people's minds because you gave this away last night, and I'll try and repeat it as best as possible. If you're paying your credit card early and you're being a good steward of your credit, you get no extra credit at all.
Correct. You do not get extra points, bonus points that are reserved for paying it on the due date.
If you paid on the due date and do that for 12 months straight,
3 months we know, but usually 6, 12, and 24.
you start getting much, much better
You get
extra credit.
You get a higher yield on those bonus points because paying early, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Nothing can.
We get back from the break. We'll talk more with Merrill Chandler, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
I just want to listen to the music.
It's great, isn't
I
it?
just want to listen to the music. Yeah, those are some great opening riffs. And you picked just great opening riffs, right?
Well, we know who our audience is, right? They're old white guys,
Yeah,
right?
the old white, middle-aged white
AC/DC,
dudes.
Van
Yep.
Halen,
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
We had this battle going on my Facebook page for a while. Like, what music should we have? Right? It got pretty heated. It got a huge thread.
Everyone, like crazy stuff. Hey guys, I know you're watching, so please give us some likes and loves, and most importantly, if you could share, we'd really appreciate that. Make sure you're coming out tonight. We're up at Spring again, right off Rayford and 45, Fairfield Inn and Suites. We have food tonight.
Oh, I'll be there.
There's a little food there. They put on a nice little spread for us.
That's awesome.
That's good. Tomorrow
What were you
night.
eating last night? Buffalo wings.
Oh
or
my!
something?
Okay, guess what? I'm going back tonight. They were the boneless chicken wing or the boneless breast.
Yeah.
Dipped in the sauce, but they were the tenderest, most amazing.
Nice.
And I was dipping it in more buffalo sauce. So I'm like, when Jessica comes here, I'm like, I know where I'm taking you for lunch. So
All I heard is, I'm getting a third order. I was like, what is he eating?
and
over
then
there?
there's like 8 of them in the thing, and they're just big long strips. I'm like, tender, delicious. I mean, I was like, what the? How do they? Oh, I need to know barbecue. Jess and I, where's the best barbecue? I'm a sauce man over a dry rub.
Yeah, me too.
So, barbecue guys, there's a great place.
Weigh
in
in
the
barbecue,
Heights.
guys.
Curtis was that place we went to in the Heights 2 weeks ago. If you could put that in the feed.
Yeah, we'll head
And
out
then
there.
Killian's would be another one, but that's a wait in line.
No, let's go sit
10
down and
seconds.
meet some people over there on maybe Thursday or something like that.
Yeah, we could do that. You
Yep.
guys, when are you flying out? Friday?
Friday morning.
Okay.
Friday, maybe even noonish. Jess, I think Jess is on.
We'll go to that
no,
barbecue
probably
joint
on
in the
the-
Heights.
Yeah, I would love,
Thursday.
and I don't
I got
mind
us.
a line if
Their
it's
sauce is
good.
Their sauce is
Food.
incredible. Welcome back. So I'll tell you, their sauce is so incredible. They don't give it to you. They have to pour it for you. So you're sitting there, you're eating your barbecue, right? Well, I'd like some sauce. And they go, okay, we'll be right with you. And you're like, just hand me the squirt bottle, whatever. They don't want you taking it and figuring out what they're. So they're like, okay, where do you want it? I kid you not. And they're like pouring on your ribs or they'll pour it on your brisket. And when Curtis was telling me this, I'm like, you're joking, right? And Brian's like, no, man, this is no joke. They will not, you cannot touch their sauce.
Okay, sounds like FICO's.
This
the
is
secret-
FICO
yeah,
for
this
barbecue.
is
FICO
the secret sauce.
protecting its
The
secret
secret
sauce.
sauce.
It's
No
the secret
joke.
barbecue sauce. It's crazy. We'll go there Thursday.
So
It's
we'll go
hot.
there at a special time. We'll invite a few of our friends.
I'm
some folks
all
from
in, man,
Mastermind
because
stuff. We'll do a proximity event.
Ooh, proxy event.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a wait in line, hang out.
I
It's a 3-hour lunch.
I'm all in because first of all, I don't get down here every week,
Yeah.
right? Much less spend a week. So I'm thrilled. Also, I want some great Mexican. Great
Ooh,
yeah,
Mexican.
yeah, for sure.
So just point me in the direction where I'm a
Yep.
foodie to
I say we go to.
nines.
I say we do. We go to Lupe for fajitas.
We can go for there for lunch today.
Yeah.
A little later lunch. It's right by the hotel.
Yeah, I pick up Jess at 12:10, so 1
Just
o'clock
meet
or
us at
something like that.
1:15. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that would
right,
be
it's right over here.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So people wonder, like, what do you guys do in real estate? I'm like, well,
We take meetings.
eat, and then we take good lunches, and
lunch,
you know,
We meet over lunch
yeah,
and discuss deals.
look at properties. So that's really what.
On our way
That's what I
to
did
and
yesterday.
from lunch.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I did yesterday. Windows down, blasting down, looking at all these different properties, meeting some guys at the brewery. Then we looked at another property, then went back to the brewery, then went to the meeting. I was like, this is perfect. This is like the best career
day.
ever.
The exercise to write your perfect day, right?
Oh, yeah.
I live it every time I'm coming to or from a deal and or lunch.
Yeah, that's
it's just
right.
back and forth. No, truly.
Someone says, man, you work a lot. I don't know if I really consider it work at this point.
Yeah. I don't know that's what I'd call it.
Yeah.
No, that's the fun part of this business, and certainly when you have the capital to be able to pull down some of these deals, it really makes your life that much better. We were talking with a friend of ours. We had actually had a beer yesterday. Did you see that? I had a beer.
I know it's you and the.
I hardly ever drink beer.
I'm not a beer guy.
No, me neither. But
myself.
I had one. I was at the brewery, so I went in Rome.
Yeah. Do you remember what you had?
Just to honor
I
the
said,
libations.
I want a red, and she's like, "We don't have any reds." I'm like, "Get me something really close."
Oh, okay.
And so she got me something really close. I have
It was
no idea
pink.
what it was.
It was pink, yeah.
Yeah, it was some sort of amber.
We should have gotten a selfie with Brock. Brock Wagner was walking around
sure.
St. Arnold's. It would have been he's the owner. It would have been a lot of fun to get a pic with him. See if anybody recognizes on Facebook. So, like,
Good.
who's this guy? He usually wears a shirt that says Chief Bottle Washer, Head Bottle Washer.
That's
Which is
awesome.
kind of funny.
That's awesome.
So,
Merrill, this is beyond real estate, though,
Yes.
right? I mean, this is for your business, for all
This
entrepreneurs.
is anybody who's looking to expand. To all your W-2er people out there who are trying to just augment. And here's the thing, guys. To shape your profile, we're talking 3, 6, 12, and 24 months, right?
Yeah.
This is not going to happen.
I can't do this in 30 days.
Oh, because
I can't
it's
get
a
$1 million
permanent.
in 30 days.
Yeah, it's a permanent long-term shift, right?
Mhm.
And the whole idea is that's the only people that we work with are individuals who are
Right.
committed to doing it differently and doing it well, playing this game like a pro, right? You don't become a pro borrower just like you don't become a pro baller in a day or a week or a month, right? So the whole idea is to do a long-term play. And whatever your choice, we never know what opportunities are coming to us, and when we don't know when our priorities are going to change. I've had folks come to me after they've been a Dave Ramsey fan for a few years. Like, love the guy, love his message is perfect for a certain demographic.
Yeah.
But if you're going to play this game, if you're going to play the game of leverage, if you're going to use rent inexpensive money and use that money to turn profits like the banks and lenders do, that's playing the game. And you got to have a stellar financial reputation. We call that a credit profile, but we're talking about your financial reputation, and they're just measuring us.
Right.
And so when we know the rules of this game, then they can let them measure us. I have a great to wax a little philosophical. Carl Jung, one of my favorite quote of all time. He says, "Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our paths, and we will call it fate." And we are being measured unconsciously for our behavior. And that's the way the financial institutions want it. They just want us blindly going along. And then in the background, they're measure, because they can trust an unconscious set of behaviors, right?
I missed all that. I'm still thinking that we're talking about Carl Jung on our radio show.
Well, and the point is that when we deliberate, proactive, you said, proactive decisions where we take charge and we build a financial reputation intentionally and on purpose, we are unstoppable.
Absolutely.
Because they're not going to stop measuring us.
Right.
They're just going to measure what we want them to measure.
That's right.
Merrill, I'll
Absolutely.
tell you, in our household, you have created a new religion. I mean, Catherine, for sure, is like, you're not doing a hard pull on me. I've already gotten 2 this year. That's not going to happen. And then calling up. Will this is this going recorded on a personal dad? Is this business?
Yeah,
dad?
how to vet a lender, just knowing
she's
whether
asking all those questions. Yeah,
that's amazing. Catherine's awesome.
Yeah,
that's the point, is to do all of this. Carl Jung notwithstanding, to do this consciously, to make choices that we know what messages we're sending out there. They will faithfully measure it. And now we know before they do that we're going to be fundable. Imagine walking into a bank knowing that you are going to get a yes because you are crossing every I and dotting every T before you walk in the bank.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, it should. Anytime you take a meeting, you should already know the outcome.
Right. Or your projected outcome, right?
Yeah.
You should know what you want, right?
You know what you want, but you should you should have a pretty good idea what that outcome looks like, right?
Yes.
Let's go back to the 24-month issue. One of the things that, Rob, you've said for years, it takes 3 years to get good at something.
Anything, yeah.
And that's if you're aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a ton of research out
Intentional
there.
and deliberate.
Yeah. So it takes, if you're going to go be a wholesaler, it's going to take you 3 years to become a adequate wholesaler.
Right.
Or a flipper.
It took our friend yesterday 13 years.
Yeah, we talked to a guy yesterday that's doing 30 deals a month.
Years to get to 30 deals a month.
He's doing, and he's a monster, right?
Yeah,
but it takes 13 years. It's
right.
the old 10,000 hours. It's
absolutely.
And that's what these guys are measuring. Now, what they've been able to do is compress that into 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, because they have some advanced machine learning, those sorts of things.
Correct.
But they recognize that if I can get a snapshot of your life over the last 24 hours, or 24 months, I got a pretty good idea of predicting what the next 10 years looks like.
That's all they need. That's all they need. And they're going to create, and that is going to predict the next 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just gives us an opportunity to shape our future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now that we know what they're measuring, I'm telling you, we have the total power. People don't know that they have total power over their fundability.
Mm-hmm.
The complete and absolute power over their financial future. And until you implement those things, they haven't got a chance in hell of surviving in the financial world, especially the direction we're going. We've got to talk about FICO and FICO world. I'm telling you, the revelations that are coming down the pipe.
Get back from the break. We'll talk more with Merrill Chandler. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
Boom.
So
2-minute break and then a short.
Yeah, this is like a really short segment, and then we're done. And it's a hard break. They'll cut us off. They've cut us off before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it gives us the one.
So tomorrow we could probably talk about FICO World.
Okay, let's do that. Let's go back to the event where we're going tonight and everything.
That's plenty. That's usually what we can stuff in that last segment.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, because I've done some of these, not as many as you guys have, but it's a reverse. It's logarithmic in reverse. It starts out longer and it cuts in by half. Every single break comes in and the same logarithmic, like 15 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
45 seconds. It's I don't know. It's weird. I just noticed that's what makes me a funding hacker. Yeah, Carl. Thank you very much, Carl.
Young. Need you tomorrow. Well, Merrill, you know that Nietzsche said that.
It's going to turn into philosophy hour.
I know.
I'm going to check. I'll start drinking at 8 o'clock in the morning. Always have fun with this existential.
We're going to start playing bocce ball and drinking at 10 a.m. Philosophizing.
Yeah. What are you guys doing? Well, we're already over here at the tin can. They haven't quite opened up yet, but they let us.
We're in the parking lot.
Guys, right?
Where was I? Oh, it was when I was at the last Deep Elm event. I showed up at that volleyball place, and they didn't open until like noon. I was there at like 11. They had all the doors open, and the guy was behind the bar. He was like, "You seem like a pretty reputable guy." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "You want to have a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I'm sitting here at the bar." He goes, "It's 11
10
o'clock."
seconds.
I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, we just have to acknowledge that, and then we'll keep drinking.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like,
as
okay,
long as we're
here's my
acknowledging
card. He's
it.
like, "I can't run it for another 45 minutes."
That's awesome.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. I'm here with Merrill Chandler of Credit Sense. Where are you boys going to be tonight?
We're all over the place this week. Tonight we're going to be up in the Woodlands. Spring, we're right at Rayford Road and 45, the Feeder Road South, Fairfield Inn and Suites.
Be there. Don't miss this.
Yeah,
deep
we're going to have
dive.
some chicken salad sandwiches on mini croissants.
Oh, those
That's
are
the
killer.
highlight of the
Those
night.
are pretty killer.
Those are
I'm
really
all in.
But I'll tell you the reason why you have to come is because it's 60-minute presentation you do.
With graphics. Imagine all this stuff with actually you can see, put eyeballs on it.
It is absolutely amazing. And the one slide that I tell everyone that of all the people I've seen presentations, the one slide that has blown me away in my lifetime is the 30 words you don't use in your LLC, right? We're not going to give them away. But man, you've got to come
30
in.
titles for your LLC.
Yeah,
that you do
everyone
use.
does it wrong, and I'm like, oh, it's devastating.
If those words are in the name of your business, you're telling a lender, please don't lend to me.
Don't give me money.
Yep.
So we're going to go over those words tonight and a whole bunch more. That's at the Fairfield Inn and Suites at 45 and Rayford's 45 Feeder Road South. Tomorrow we're going to be at Homewood Suites over here at Park Row and Highway 6. And then on Thursday we're going to be down at Dickinson and Noah's Event Center. That's right off of 45 and 517. Guys, if you're missing any of that, just go ahead and text us at 281-401-9008. And we do have a big 2-day coming up. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We have a 2-day event coming up that basically you give your whole business away, right? We love those guys that just give it all away.
And here's the binder.
Here's everything. Just here's everything you can.
We will
This
knock
is what
it
we do.
out of the park.
Yeah, and so, again, there's only about 5 to 7 people in this entire real estate education industry or around it that we ever want to associate with, and you're one of them because you give it all away.
Thank you. I'm telling you, I'm happy to. The unempowered business owners, entrepreneurs, real estate investors, note buyers. I just want everybody to know what game is actually afoot and that they can play that game to win, right? And if we can help, that's what we're here for. But if I'm going to tell you the truth of the matter, tomorrow we're going to be, don't miss it, we're going to be talking about actually going to Mount Olympus of the credit gods, and the conversations that I had with the CEO of FICO and meeting with the score development teams. Killer.
So 281-401-9008. If you want to shoot Rob a text, they'll be up in the Woodlands today. Tomorrow you guys are going to be in Katy, and Thursday
Dickinson
will be Thursday.
Galveston.
That's right. So Galveston, Dickinson area. So
this week, this is great.
This is going to be so much fun. So thanks, Meryl. We're going to see you tomorrow, guys. We'll be back on the radio tomorrow morning. It's Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
Oh, awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Please share this. If you learned something today,
come on.
Give it a share. We would.
If I'm sharing it for free, you share it for free.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. If I can do it for free, surely you can, right?
Everybody, pass it along. Get everybody here tomorrow because we're just starting the revelation, right? So.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow.